I'm going to share as you hit the go live. So.
Can we share it too?
Yes, you can.
I'll share it afterwards.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. My name is Rachel Morris, and I am the Executive Director for the Rolesville Chamber of Commerce. Today, you see a panel of wonderful, beautiful women. Today, we are going to celebrate Women's History Month, and we're going to introduce you to some of our Rolesville own. The women that are listed on this panel are just a small bit of the reflection of the wonderful women that we have here in Rolesville. It's also going to be a great reflection of our diversity that we have in Rolesville. And I said one of the things we wanted to show not only at the chamber, but also in Rotary was to show you the beautiful people that we have here. Now, today I have joining my wonderful moderator. Her name is Ilze Be Berzina. And one of the things that I tell you about Ilze, if you are looking to truly be who you are, she is a life coach, a speaker, an entrepreneur, and most of all, she is an artist. If you are looking for that coach to kind of pull you out and help you get going and push you along, Ilze is the person to do it, and she does it with so much heart and creativity. Joining us today on our panel, we have Veronica Alston, or Coach V, as some may know her. She is our financial coach. She is the CEO of DV Alston Consulting. She will make sure that you can, one, get your finances in order, and she'll kind of put a little boot to you in the process. Why will she put that boot to you? Because she has over 22 years of military service as a combat veteran, and she's also a certified physician. So physician assistant. So she'll take care of you once she puts the boot to you. Also, we have Olga Dovoric, who is the president-elect of the Rolesville Rotary Club. In addition to that, she is a local realtor. If you are in the market for a home, or you may have a home you're thinking of selling, they are in the need of inventory. So you can always reach out to Olga to get you some assistance. We also have Flavi Huff, who's also one of our local Rotarians in the Rolesville Rotary Club. She is a professional photographer with Flavi Huff Photography. If you're looking for a person to get the right angles to help get those family memories and help you kind of capture those things that you've been looking for, Flavi is the person. She's originally from Brazil, and she'll tell you a little bit about her story today about how she came to be now a U.S. citizen in this country. Rounding out our panel, we have Joseline Kirkendoll, who is with AAA Advertising Specialties. One of the things I love about Joseline is she is also a grant and compliance professional. She also owns a consulting firm. If you're looking for some assistance with that, she's originally from Pakistan. She is the daughter of a retired teacher and a priest. Now, as you hear about Joseline today, you're going to find out that she is all about human rights. She's all about fighting for justice. And one of the things, and I always joked about it earlier, is that I believe she's been fighting since she was in the womb for those things. So we're excited to have you here today. We're going to round out our panel. I'm going to turn it over to Ilze so you all can hear from the wonderful ladies who are listed here today and also hear their wonderful story. Ilze?
Thank you so much, Rachel, and good morning, everybody. So let's start. I am a woman in process. I'm just trying like everybody else. I try to take every conflict, every experience, and learn from it. Life is never dull. This was the quote by Oprah Winfrey, who I look up to because I, too, am a woman in process. Once established in Latvia, I had to leave it all there, and I came to Rolesville and started from the scratch. Here, I continue my process of growth. And today, I am honored to be here to celebrate women in history and in their processes. Olga, You came from West Ukraine. You made it to Rolesville and now you call it your home. But staying at home wasn't enough for you. Could you please briefly describe your process of growing to become president-elect for the Rotary Club of Rolesville?
Hi, Ilze. Thank you so much for having me. It definitely was a long process. You know, as you said, I was born and raised in Ukraine, and in '92, my parents came to the United States, and I basically grew up listening to the stories about this wonderful country, democracy, how amazing it was. So since I was 7, it was my dream to come here. So my story, you know, it starts with a small dream, with a small girl in a beautiful city. And I learned English. And when the opportunity presented, I moved here in 2003. Throughout the years, I moved 12 times. So I know how to pack and pack and do all the things. And my first job in the US was doing hardwood floors with my dad. He still does hardwood floors since like early 2000s. It was a fun job. It was a great opportunity to learn about the home building process, meet different builders. And then I worked at the catering company for 10 years. And I loved serving people, meeting new people, you know, meeting with clients, hearing their vision of the event and then delivering it. Throughout the years, we did some flips of the homes, and this experience led me into real estate. So now I help people buy or sell, and I love to share my knowledge and everything what I learned through the years so everybody can make a well-informed decision in this process. So, and the Rotary, you know, I met a wonderful person from Wake Forest Rotary, and I heard about this amazing organization with their motto, service above all. And, you know, it's amazing to serve your community, to meet different people, and to do something for the place that gives you opportunity and give back. It's very important.
That's exactly right. Wow, that's a very interesting story. You have been moving for 12 years back and forth.
12 times throughout my lifetime.
12 times. Well, that is amazing. It took me a while too to settle here, so our stories are somewhat similar. But let me ask you another question.
Yes.
Now you are the president of the Rotary Club, and together with the Chamber of Commerce, you decided to organize this event. Why do we need a special month to honor women?
So I'm a president-elect. I will be president this year, and I think when we talked with the president, Rachel Morris, she's a wonderful, wonderful person, and she does so much for the community. And Rolesville she just inspires everybody to create wonderful things. And it's important to honor women because women contribute a lot to the society. You know, history, medically, education, arts, and we need to show young generation that you can work hard, you can learn, you can achieve so many things, and it's just inspirational. You know, if you can be a leader and inspire somebody and change lives, it's just amazing.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I am a president of a Toastmasters Club, and I actually ask some of these questions in my club about women because this is the March. March is the month where we honor women, and I heard similar responses from people in my club that women just make the communities richer with everything that they bring to the communities. So I assume that you look forward to having another event like this next year.
Hopefully, yes, that's the plan.
And this is the first year where we are having this event, right?
It is.
Because of the COVID, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's
We're
beautiful.
making best of it, you know.
Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to say, anybody who is watching this, please, I think that you can ask questions, you can post questions, and after I will talk to all the women, Rachel will take over, and we will ask the question. We will ask the questions to the panelists. Your questions, is that correct, Rachel? Yeah.
Yes, that is absolutely correct. If you actually post your question on social media right now, we can actually pull it into the stream. So if you have a question or if you have a comment about anyone on the panel, you know, definitely if you're on Facebook, if you are on YouTube, we're live on YouTube and on Facebook. So if you have a question on either one or a comment for the panel, this is Celebrating Women's History Month. So go ahead and respond and put that question or comment in there, and we'll actually bring it up during the stream. So we're really excited about that.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, let's have that conversation. All right, let's move on. Not many women or men will ever get the opportunity to do what I do. It's been tough at times throughout my career to have men tell me they will not work with me because I am a woman. I say to them, that's okay. You don't have to follow me, but I will bring you along. These are the words by Stella Sierra Chiaricchi, Chief Petty Officer of the U.S. Navy, a jet engine mechanic on the FA-18F Super Hornet. Veronica, you are a combat veteran with over 22 years of military service and now a coach who is helping women to get fit financially. You truly are a powerful leader. What has been your biggest challenge in becoming a woman leader?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Thank you to all the wonderful ladies on the panel today. I'm just so honored to be among you today. I think my biggest challenge really has been having the confidence in myself. When I served in the military, I served as a physician assistant. So I was responsible for the health and welfare of over 1,200 soldiers in my battalion, and sometimes even in my brigade. So the health and welfare of all of those soldiers were in my hands. And when I walked into a room full of generals, full of high-ranking men, I had to be confident that I knew what I was talking about, first of all, so that they could be confident in me. Only 14% of women are in the military. So the rest are men. So most of the time, as a female, as a woman, you're walking into a room full of men. And if you don't have the education and also the confidence in yourself, they will not have the confidence in you. And when people lose confidence in you, then it's hard for you really to prove yourself and prove yourself to be equal, because you're really trying to dig yourself out of that hole. So I would spend hours at nighttime in the books, looking at trends, making sure I knew what was going on. I knew what was best for our soldiers. So when I walked into that room full of generals, that room full of men, I was confident in myself, and they in turn was confident in me. So one of my biggest people that I love to talk about in the military is Cathay Williams. So she was a female Buffalo soldier back in the 1840s that incorporated herself sneakily into the military. But she gained the confidence of all of those that were around her. And she opened the door for me, who, as a physician assistant, was able to walk into a room full of generals with confidence to instill values that I've learned and for people to be confident in me. And now we have females that are rangers and going on to be these big, great people in the military that are in dangerous jobs. So I think the greatest challenge has been confidence, but my greatest example or live model has been those that have come before me and now those that are coming after me.
Well, that is so inspiring. I remember I was once a teacher of English in Latvia, and once I had a room full of only boys, 17 years old boys. So I remember what I needed confidence to walk in that room and start teaching those young male students. So I can only imagine what you were going through when you had to go through when you had to enter that room full of generals. Wow, that's inspiring. Let me ask you another question. Have you ever been told that a man was not going to work with you because you are a woman?
Personally, I have not experienced that. I think one, because I grew up with a lot of boys around, so I had brothers and male cousins, and so I did what everyone else was doing, and they did boy things, so I did boy things. They climbed trees, I climbed trees. We jumped off roofs of houses. They were doing it, I was doing it. So I think it's really been the opposite for me, only because of the way that I grew up. And now, and when I was deployed in Iraq, I will tell you, I was actually asked to go kick down doors with an all male unit. I was like, no, thank you. I don't want to do that. But just when you have confidence and ability and you work hard, I have not personally experienced that. I know there are some women that have, but I think women are so strong that we're able to do and accomplish whatever we set out to do. We can be told no, but when a woman has her mind set up to do something, there is no stopping her. So I would say that to any women out there that really has a goal to do something and someone is telling you they're not going to work with you or you can't do it, you can do anything that you put your mind to. You could take Kathy Williams as an example, only female Buffalo soldier in the military at the time. And no, I'm sure if they would have found out she was a woman, she would have been told no. But you can do anything you put your mind to.
That's exactly right. And I hear coach speaking through your words. Joseline, hello. You are originally from Pakistan. And I know that in Pakistan, women have made to high offices such as Prime Minister and Speaker of the National Assembly. And Shahida Malik became the Major General, which is the highest military post for a woman. My question to you is, as a Pakistani woman, you also shared your voice becoming a member, excuse me, of Human Rights Commission in Pakistan. What observation or event made you to become active and speak your voice?
Thank you very much, Ilze. You bring a great point. A little bit about myself. I left Pakistan as an adult, like I was in my late 20s when I left Pakistan. And I was, as you all know, I was a part of human rights activist and an advocate for injustices for many, for children and women and all. So the point is that was my big question that I struggled in Pakistan is like, okay, women can get to higher places. And if you see South Asia, the whole region, in Sri Lanka, women have, there was a woman prime minister, India, Bangladesh. So women have been in higher places, but at the same time, women are oppressed in daily life to a point where they're not allowed to go out without a male member of the family. They couldn't go out for a walk and stuff like that. Now, I grew up in that society, but my father made sure that we went to school like my brother. We got education and stuff. So he was not a typical Pakistani male character. He was not dominating. He treated us like our brother and sent us to school. So I was able to speak my mind, and that was my biggest reason of joining Human Rights Commission of Pakistan was like, okay, women are in that high positions, and that can be a topic for another day, why they are, and but they were at the same time weak because they, women still are very oppressed in those regions, especially in South Asia where I'm from.
Yeah, I hear that you've been lucky that you've had a father who treated you equally like your brothers. I I don't think I understand fully what it means to live like that. What in Pakistan, because in Latvia, where I lived, women are more or less treated equally. However, I know what it means to be oppressed generally, because Latvia was occupied by the Soviets, so to say, Russia and Soviets for the entire life as I was growing up, and only when I became an adult, Latvia became free. But let me ask you this, because I know that it's still been hard to fully share my voice, because I still have fears that I'm working on. Was it was it easy for you to just stand up and start sharing your voice?
Well, I wouldn't say it was easy, but this was Jocelyn. I was a different person. I spoke my mind. I had a job. So it was something that I had to do. And I would say that maybe that was the reason I had to leave too. Because, when you get in limelight, you get threatened, but the hypocrisy was hard for me to take. I had a job there, but at the same time, I was treated very differently. So I see equality very differently than just getting higher positions, getting jobs, because, if you're not treated with respect in those jobs, and if you don't, you lose a lot. Like Veronica was saying, you lose your confidence. You say whether I'm equal to them or not. And I think the society, the irony again is that I was the one who doing, or my organization, gender right workshops for our society, but my male coworkers did not treat me very nicely, because and there was a hypocrisy that, look, these people are talking about equality of women and stuff, but then when it comes to their wives, to their female coworkers, their mentality was very different. And it was not easy, but it was something I had to do. That's how I am. So I had to do that. So
Yeah, that's sad to hear. But with this broader view of life, for how life is in Pakistan for women, and comparing it to what you see in this country, do you think that it is harder for women to gain access to jobs and communities that are traditionally male still in this country as well?
well, in this country, if you come from that region, your males have to still, they can be dominant. They make most of the decisions and stuff like that. I have worked for organizations here that work just with South Asian women. So, so it can still be a fight among, in between the family. Like, you're an immigrant because you are away from your family, your social structure. You can't speak the language. I don't know whether you drive or not, or you have to get a driver's license. So there's a lot of barriers here an immigrant has to grow and being accepted in this country. So if you don't have that support from the male member of your society, whether or of your family, I mean, a dad, brother, husband, spouse, then you might not get those things, and you might still be kind of living in the same circumstances um, like you were in Pakistan.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, I see it. Thank you so much, Joseline. But I'll move ahead. There is no place like home. This familiar phrase invokes the image of an ideal. Home as a safe haven and shelter from the world. For women who have been victims of femicide, misogynist killing by men, these simple words take on an disturbing new meaning. The threat of violent death for a woman is in fact greatest in her own home. And her killer is likely no stranger, no masked psychopath, but someone who knew her intimately, a companion or former companion, a husband or lover. I just read a fragment from the synopsis of the book Femicide by Jill Radford and Diane Russell. Flavi, you come from Brazil. You experienced domestic violence, which is partly why you decided to leave the country. When I think of Brazil, I think of Brazilian carnival with beautifully dressed women dancing. Yet I also know that Brazil has one of the highest rates of femicide in the world. What would you like people in Rolesville to know about women in Brazil?
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor to be among such amazing women. So as you said, I experienced domestic violence. Like growing up, I saw my father trying to kill my mother many times from the age I was 4 years old. So it was very present in my childhood. But what I want people to know about women in Brazil is that they are fierce people. Like they're fierce, they're strong. They go like we go through a lot. Brazil is such an amazing country. Like we're so rich, but yet the difference in population as far as like the society, the way it places. If you happen to be born poor, it's very unlikely that you're gonna climb the society ladder. They don't give as much opportunities. And yes, like the machismo there, I don't know if you guys are familiar with that
Yes.
term, but it's like a very male dominant society where you are meant to serve your husband. If you are to have a job outside your home, you still are responsible for taking care of everything else at home, and serve your husband and take care of the children by yourself. And you're treated very differently. Yes, like it has, as the years go by, things have changed a little bit more. It's a little bit more progressive, but not at all as progressive as it is here. It's definitely a society that is led by male power, for sure.
Yeah, I think the word that you used, like we say macho, that might have come from your language.
Yes,
Yeah.
machismo. Very
Machismo.
right. Yes.
Yeah. Wow. And let me ask you this, because I was thinking of that carnival, and you said that Brazil is a beautiful country with traditions and everything. If you could hold a culturally diverse event in Roseville, what would it be, and why?
Probably like Brazil is such, like I said, like such a big country. So each part of the country has a different type of, event that kind of is specific about the area that they're in. Obviously, probably I would like to host something in regards with Carnival, because here's the thing: people has like this misconception about Carnival, that it's this just a bunch of naked people dancing around, in the streets. But actually, culturally, if you go back and you study the history of the event itself, it's all about the colors. It's all about our colors, because Brazil is such a colorful country, right? We have beautiful animals, beautiful birds, beautiful forests, amazing food. So carnival, but like more focusing on the food, on the animals, the culture, trying to bring awareness to like how. I always tell my husband this. He's American, so I always tell him this. Like, people never understand how happy Brazilians are. Like, even though we have one of the biggest poorest population in the world, right? You see the slums, for example, which they call the Rocinha. Like, the slums there are super dangerous. But those people that find themselves there, the majority of them are transplants for smaller towns, smaller areas. They're going after their dreams, right? It's like I never lived in the slums, but I see myself as one of those people that left my country and came here for a better opportunity, for a better life, because I knew if I were to stay there, I couldn't change the fact that I was born poor and I wouldn't have the opportunity to live to my true potential. So that's what I would focus on, like show people how happy those people are, no matter like what they face themselves, like the situation they find themselves. They'll be living on houses made out of cardboard, but they'll be the most welcome. Like they'll treat you like you're royalty, and they'll share the plate of rice they have with you, like no matter who you are.
Wow, that's so beautiful how you are describing this, and it brings associations of my to my own country, because we also have traditions, and I know that some people who know these traditions of singing and dancing, it's particularly we celebrate the midsummer, which is the highest peak of the warmest time, because we are high up in the north, and we celebrate summer and the longest day of a year. And at that time also we have some people who observe those traditions, they get naked and run across the meadow, but that's not what it is all about. It's not about just naked people, like you said, carnival. It's more about the tradition, culture. There is a deeper philosophy in all that, and it would be great to have an event like that, like the event of diversity, to show all these cultures and traditions that.
Food.
And educate people that about the diversity and what's there more
I
than
think
what.
that's great, Ilze. I definitely agree. I think something that would be representative of the panel we have today, a nice culturally diverse event. And I love kind of the suggestions and the feedback. And I think that this is something great for us to look forward to. And I'm pretty sure that, Rolesville Rotary Club, with our diversity, we definitely can help working with some key partners. And the Chamber of Commerce definitely works in close partnership with the town of Rolesville. So I think this is a great opportunity to open up those discussions of some things that we can do. So I love that. I really do.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. Now we have the seed has been put in the ground. We just need to act upon it, right? But I think we still have some time, and I'll ask more questions, because this is really interesting that I hear him. So as Rachel already mentioned, I am a life coach, and as such, I also continuously work with coaches on my own development. And right now, my coach is Christina Berkeley. She's a master coach, and she has been my coach for the last 5 months. And she is one of the most influential women I know personally. My next question is to Veronica. You also coach people, and I know that we coaches, we strive to continuously learn from other people. If you could meet any influential woman, whom would you choose, and what questions would you ask her?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. And I am hoping to meet I would say, most influential woman, which would be none other than the former First Lady, Michelle Obama. I love her. Oh my gosh. Like, with reading her book, I realized that could have been me. Like, we have a lot of similar stories of where she grew up, how she grew up. And I think that it would just be amazing to meet her. I also love the fact that she's a balanced woman. So she's not only been the first of the former first lady, African American female in the White House. She's a mom. She's an auntie. She's a cousin. And when you read her book, you know and learn more about her. She's a wife. She was the perfect wife for President Barack Obama, because some of the stuff I was like, oh my gosh, she's really balanced. And one thing that I learned from a lady from my church, Dr. Vicki Stanton, said, um, the Proverbs 31 woman, I explained one time, I was like, that woman is busy. And I'm sure she is tired. Okay. And she said, listen, you don't have to be all of that at once. And so what I learned from Michelle Obama was that she wasn't the attorney and the first lady and the mom. She wasn't that all at once. There were times in her life where she was more of an attorney. There was times where she took off of work to be a mom and to go to her children's swim meets. And so I love the balance of that. And I would just ask her, like, how can I be more balanced as a mom and wife? I have all of these achievements I want to go after, but I have two young children at home. And now it's like my time to be a mom, but I still feel kind of anxious. So I would just ask her, how was she able to keep that balance and still achieve the things that she wanted to achieve and continue to achieve?
That's a great answer. Thank you. And in a way, as you were speaking, I was thinking Michelle probably was a co-president, right?
Right.
Because, yes.
Behind every good man is a great woman. And so I know that she contributed a lot to the White House and her initiatives, even for healthier lunches at schools and those things that she did even while serving as the first lady. So I just love her. And she is going to be doing a Becoming with the Girl Scouts coming up next month, and my daughter is in the Girl Scouts. So Michelle, if you're out there, I want to meet you. So yeah.
That is so wonderful. Yeah, I was getting so excited I forgot what I wanted to say. Thank you so much. I'll move ahead, and my next question is to Olga. I have a similar question, in fact, for you. Who is the most influential woman you know, and how does she inspire you?
I'll go. The most influential woman I know is my mother, and here's why. My mother is, and I got super emotional talking about my mother. She graduated from third grade. And she never, went back to school because she was a farmer, like a daughter of a farmer. She got married very young. And from the minute she got married, she suffered abuse from my father. But somehow, after leaving my father and working as a house cleaner in many, many jobs, she was sure that we would be able to go to school and become somebody, she was able to raise two amazing daughters. Because like in Brazil, that's the thing too. Like, I don't know here, but in Brazil, when you're a single mom, the likelihood of the daughters, especially if you have daughters, the likelihood of them becoming somebody or the likelihood of them not falling into the system is very slim, because it's like it's stacked up against you. And somehow was not only able to raise two amazing daughters, like my sister is an amazing woman as well. She's back in Brazil. She has a job, she has a family. And I told her that like, as you guys said, I became an American citizen the other day. And I told her, I'm like, wow, Mom, like, this is not my accomplishment. This is your accomplishment. It was because of how you raised me and how you made me believe that I could achieve anything in my life, that I could fight for anything I wanted, that I have this. This is not mine. This is yours. So it's my mother. It's always going to be my mother because she's my hero.
Thank you so much. I do wish better times for Brazilian women. By that I mean more equality, or equality, not more equality, but just generally equality for Brazilian women and women in general. And that leads me to the next question that I would like to ask to Joseline, to you. As a relentless advocate for equality at different levels, how do you think the fight for gender equality will change over the next 100 years? Will we ever attain true equality?
Well, I think globally there's going to be a fight against, or for gender equality. It's going to get tighter, like stronger, because you can only ignore one major sect of the society for so long. So by hook or by crook, that will come. That's what I think. Either the women are going to get stronger. There are strong women still fighting for equality globally, like in part of there are very strong women already there, that are keeping on pushing on that. But I also think that it will become kind of, well, we don't have a choice. We have to do this because 50% of the population are women. So we have to give them jobs. We have to treat them equally and stuff like that. I think in developed world, it's going to still keep on moving, more toward gender equality because, we have laws that we treat everybody equally, but now we need to change some mindsets of some people that, okay, well, women are there. They need to be paid equally or, paid for their skills and for what they bring to the table, not just because, so those are the things I think in developed world, we are going to also see a small, still moving on to that. I am optimistic by nature. I do think that we will get there because 50% of the world population is women, or they have to treat us equally because there's no choice without that. So, so I really think that's attainable. That's going to be attained because, like I said, whether somebody likes it or not, it's going to go that way. You can't ignore a sect because you're going to hurt your economy. You're going to hurt your culture socially if you don't treat women the way everybody should be treated. And it's, so that's where I see the world is going. Now, women, I do think that we might have to redefine equality at some time, because sometimes I feel like, are we really trying to be like men, or we are trying to be like ourselves and stuff like that. So that's my biggest thing, is that in developed world, you will see, and I'm hoping, a redefinition of that, because we're still going to be mothers, we're still going to be daughters and, sisters and stuff. So are we trying to give that role up? We are just trying to be like men that we can do. But I would like to be like myself, because I am not in competition with every guy on the road. I'm Joseline, so treat me like myself. So I think there's going to be, I'm hoping that there will be a redefinition of it, that, just treat us the way we are and without any bias of, gender.
I will say, I think that that's a powerful statement. If you look at anything that's happening right now, when you talk about for women to compare themselves or measure themselves, that our comparison is, in a sense, is a man. And for a lot of women, unfortunately, that is the mark of where we have to prove that we are worthy. You look at now, since we've been in quarantine for about a year, you look at the number of women who have left the workplace. You look at the number of women who've had to decide and choose whether I will take care of my kids at home and their homeschooling, or will I do my job? And so there was I hate to say, almost like a mass exodus of women that actually left the workforce when we did go into quarantine. So I'm glad you put it. I never really put thought into it that way, as far as what we measure ourselves to or what we compare ourselves to. And I think that a lot of that, when you speak of the struggles and the challenges that we face as women, no matter what color, shade, your background, whatever, we all face similar hurdles, regardless of what you do or how you do it. So I will say, I will use that, Joseline, from now on. I will be something that you see pop up again. So
amen to that. I was thinking, it was so well said. So I think that my time will soon run up. I have maybe one question to for everybody, all the women here, and maybe Rachel, you want to also chime in. What are the 3 most important qualities a woman should have to become successful and happy in modern American society? Ladies, who would like to start?
We don't have enough time for that question.
Olga wanted to. Olga wanted to. Maybe we started with
it, Olga.
I think that number 1 is to be confident. Like Veronica mentioned before, you go in knowing that, like, you need to know your purpose and what you're trying to achieve, and then you will be successful in what you want. You just need to be confident. And another quality, not shrinking themselves and standing in, like, being successful. When you achieve something, just stop for a minute and just be proud of yourself. I know a lot of women, they just shrink themselves and they're like, oh, maybe I cannot do it. Just go for it. And the last one, just be true to yourself. Know who you are, know where you come from, always remember where you come from. I think that's like the most important thing.
Thank you so much. So there you have it, Rachel. I return the floor to you. Thank you.
I will open it up. There was a question that was posted, and I have it on the screen for you, Flavi, if you want to answer that question. From
I
Deborah
left
Giselle.
Brazil when I was 17 years old, almost 18. No, I did not come here with my family. It was just me. Like I said, it was just my mom, myself, and my sister. So yeah, it was a crazy, crazy journey. But it was worth it, every penny of it. Someone asked me the other day, I did a talk where I told people part of my journey here. And someone sent me a message asking me, after you've been through all of this, would you do it again? And I'm like, yes, I would have. I would have, because when you don't have options around you, when you don't have ways of creating a path for yourself, when every door closes, you find a window and you kick that window open and you go find what is to be yours.
That definitely is one way to put it. I think that you hear quite a few people will say this, and for those that are listening, I think one of the things that I will say probably resonated and stood out is when you always hear people saying that they don't have a seat at the table, and or you can't get into that room, and you hear people say, pry the door open, or go pull up your own chair and put it at the table. It may not look like others, but put yourself there. And I know as a woman, in a lot of cases, that's pretty tough for us. And some of the things that we do, and pretty tough for us, and how we balance some things. But I think that as we've heard from the panel, and me knowing you all, it always makes it so interesting when you share your stories and share information about yourselves. And I said, this is an opportunity for Rolesville to actually meet you all and know you the way that I know you, because I think that you have so much to give. I mean, when you look at the diversity on our panel and you hear the, Flavi's story of coming here and actually just, she was nervous about that test, and we all kind of chuckled in Rotary and was like, you probably have passed it before we will. But, she did great on it. And even when I look at Joseline and she talks about fighting for human rights and things like that. Her daughter turns 18 today. Happy birthday, Joanna. And she's a published author. You look at kind of how we push our kids, and you look at Veronica, who is a combat vet, and you look at the fact her two daughters and her kids overall are amazing. And even with them modeling and having their own lip gloss and things like that, you look at how we push and do things. And even when I look at Olga and I look at all of the things that she does in the community and how she fights for so much to make sure that that she's from Ukraine and she's proud to be from Ukraine, and her husband Alex. And I just love that. And when I look at Ilze, and she will tell you so much about herself, and she'll tell you so many wonderful things. And I love how you can't necessarily judge by the surface. And if you don't give the women an opportunity to actually show you what they're worth and what they can do, a lot of times people will miss out. And that's the key part about this. We do want to make sure that we thank all of the women for being on the panel today. We want to make sure that you do know I'm with the Rolesville Chamber of Commerce. Definitely, if there's anything we can do to support you, if you are a business and you are not affiliated with the chamber, reach out to me. We would love to have you as a chamber member. If there's anything that you would love to know about any of the women listed on the panel, I am popping up information. And so I'll do Flavi. If you want to learn more about Flavi Huff, you can definitely visit her website at Flavi Huff Photography. She will be able to assist you in so many things. Her story and her tears. Flavi she always cries, people. I mean, we love her. She does. She always cries. If you're looking for more information about Ilze, if you want to know, how can I talk to that life coach? How can I speak to someone? She does a lot of stuff, by the way. The jumping in the cold water thing, we didn't even talk about that. We didn't even touch on that with her group, but she is a great person to know, I'm telling you. And her website is also listed if you would love to know more about her. Then we have Veronica with DV Alston. If you want to know more about a financial coach, and let me tell you something, Veronica and her husband, Dan, are powerhouse people. When I tell you powerhouse, okay? And when you go in, don't be sensitive. They will handle you with care and will love on you throughout the process. And then if you want to reach Joseline, she is with AAA Advertisement. If you're looking for any promotional items or you need anything printed or anything of that nature, if you don't even have an idea of what you want, they can help you. And I love talking about this because when you look at all of the talent that we have here in Rolesville, there's so many businesses here in Rolesville. And we always want to put it out so that people know who those businesses are. And then I have Olga. She has a long email address, but let me tell you, Olga with Coldwell Banking. That's all you need to know. Coldwell Banking Advantage. If you are looking for a realtor, Olga is that person. But also she's our president-elect of Rotary, which means as of July 1, I will graciously hand the reins to her. And that way, if you are interested in being a Rotarian and want to know more about Rotary, you can reach out to us and we'll definitely get you more information because we are looking to grow our club. And so I just want to go through, because I know we have some questions and comments and things like that coming in as far as in the chat and things like that. And someone just confirmed that, yes, Dan T and V. And you'll notice people don't call them Veronica or Dan. He is Dan T, which we actually call him that in Rotary. And V, we don't ever call her Veronica. We call her V. They are, in fact, a powerhouse. And I want to say to my panel, thank you so much for this is our first time using this platform that we're using for the chamber. And we're so excited. In this panel, I will tell you, if you want to know about women who are committed, they took time out of their schedules and did a tech run through. They came in, they asked questions, they kind of, threw questions back and forth amongst one another. But we'll just open it up now because I know we're ahead of schedule and I love being ahead of schedule and we can just talk. I mean, I think that this is a great opportunity to round it out. If we get any more comments, we can definitely do that. But we have more than enough questions, I know, that can carry us into our total 1 hour block and we can just, continue to move on. But let's just have we're ladies. Let's just talk. We can definitely talk about all the different things going on. Anything wonderful that you have coming up that you can share with us, I would say go for it.
I did want to go back to that when we were talking about women exiting the workforce and now taking our children took priority. We have to get home. We have to homeschool our kids. And so one of the questions, because before this, I called close friends, my cousins. I'm like, listen, I need to talk about women's history and I need some information. So let's just talk. So we talked about, like we said earlier, the balance of being a mom and being an entrepreneur. And one of the things that I found out is that I'm a mom first. Okay, I'm a mom, wife, and then that's it. And then there's the boss. Like we have to take care of our children because they're our future. They're our legacy. That's all we have. And then after that comes your career. So I would like to know how the ladies on the panel handled that and what are your thoughts about that?
I agree with you when it comes to my life and my business, and my kids are always gonna come first because family it's so important to me because I never had like a real close up family. So yes, I try to, and I'm very honest with my clients from the beginning. You're going to be talking to me, especially now with them being home. You might hear some kids screaming in the background. You're going to come in for your headshot. You might have kids running around, but I promise you that no matter what, I will deliver good materials and good headshots and good photos. So yes, my family is always going to come first. My kids are always going to come first because I think that's, like you said, they are the future. And we have to make sure these people that we're building, that we build them well so that they can be the best of it for the future. It can't just be half. Like you know what, that no, it has to be done properly. So yes, I agree.
Yeah, I saw an article and it was a lady who was a CEO of a company. And so there's Fortune 500, there's 41 women out of the 500 Fortune 500 that are CEOs. And so I saw this article and she was saying, I used to make sure that I was perfect. My makeup was perfect and I was, in the room with my briefcase or phone or whatever it is that she needed. And now she's just like, my family, people know about my family. And initially, I know for us, even in the military, it's like you're a soldier. Like your family life is after you clock out and get off military time. But now we're able to incorporate our families more. We're able to say, I can't, my kid has a soccer game, or I got to go to a doctor's appointment. I think now it will be more accepted. And I think it will also help us as women as we start to climb the corporate ladder or develop our businesses or just excel in the business world.
Well, you know, V, I think another thing too that people don't think about is that our mom goes beyond or wife. I think about my friends that have fur babies, right? I mean, a lot of people, you know, I think about that, and I think it's like a big joke right now. I see so many TikToks where people are talking about, come on, Uncle Joe, you know, run me my check for my baby, and they have their pets and things like that. But a lot of that too, people are concerned about when they do have to go back to work on what happens now with my fur baby who has gotten used to me being home with them all the time and those adjustments. So I said there's so many things that people don't think about when they look at this, you know, kind of how the pandemic has impacted us and kind of being women and being home and things like that. And I know so many of you have pets on here that I know you definitely understand that. And, you know, I know that Ilze, you know, you are the moderator today. So you were doing a lot of the question asking. And so I would love if you could share kind of your story too, because, you know, for those of us that know you and know your husband and know your son, you know, you have family too that you also left when you came here to the US and things like that. And you have an impactful story.
Well, thank you. That's true. I do have a family. I have 2 children, and my first child, I was very young in my early 20s when I had my first child. And I think that's why I have always been an entrepreneur, so that I can determine my schedule, so that I don't have to commit to somebody and submit to somebody else's schedule. I've been an entrepreneur for 25 plus years, something like that. My oldest son is 30. And by the way, I am a grandmother. He has 2 children.
Oh, wow.
And my younger son, Phillips, just turned, I mean, not just, he is 18, and finally I feel free. All these years, because my sons have are almost 12 years apart. So 18 plus 12, that would be 30 years I served my family, basically my children. And now finally I feel that I can start fully commit to my dreams, my business and everything. So yeah, my first business was in event production, but then my most serious and long-term business has been in translation, and that has been online most of the time, although I have been interpreting, also going to interpreting events where I interpret simultaneously or consecutively, depends on what the need is. And then when I came here, that was not needed anymore, because there's really no demand for Latvian language, enough demand. I worked for a little bit for also military. I assessed the language skills of military people who actually are located in Latvia, that kind of thing. But it wasn't, I didn't earn enough. So I really went fully into the business, and I developed a digital program that people around the world can buy. And now I coach and I help with my skills and all the experiences that I have had, that I have collected over the years from Latvia, from working internationally in Latvia. But really, when Latvia joined the European Union, it was an international business, and then here. So yeah, that's in a nutshell. Of course, there's a lot more.
Well, we had a wonderful question in the chat from Elroy, and it was, how do the ladies recognize when they are not balancing? What do you do to realign their lives? Olga, I'm going to let you take this one.
Sometimes you just need to take like a day to yourself or a few hours to yourself, and before COVID, I would go and take painting classes. It's just some things that, 2-3 hours you are out of the house, you are not thinking about work, you are not thinking about anything. You just, your mind goes blank and you just paint. And that's what I would do all the time. Or go for a walk, like even like if it's like a 30-minute walk, it still helps. So small things.
Well, before we wrap up, I do want to ask one last question, right? So part of this was, of course, highlighting some of the women of Rolesville. What do you love about Rolesville? Because every person that is on here is not from Rolesville. All of us are transplants to Rolesville, like majority of the population that is here. So as we wrap up, just kind of what do you love about Rolesville?
I like the size. I feel comfortable here. I wouldn't feel as comfortable in a larger city. I know that I can find people and actually really, really connect with people, because we cannot connect with thousands of people. We can just connect with a few, and it's nice to have them in close proximity. That's what I would say.
To me, it's what you said, all the transplants. I don't feel so much of an outcast because every single person you meet is from somewhere. And you also learn something. I love learning. So you always are learning something about somebody because they're from a different country, a different state. So I think culture, like the culture.
Yeah, I would agree with both the ladies, especially the neighborhoods. I love that there are a lot of neighborhoods which you can go outside and talk to your neighbors, and they want to talk to you. You have no neighbors that move in. You want to know where they're from. Like, what are you, Duke or Carolina? It's a lot of things that you learn about your neighbors. And we talked about most influential women. One of the women that influenced me growing up, don't tell anybody, but was June Cleaver. And I love June Cleaver from Leave It to Beaver, for y'all that don't know that, because they had that neighborhood feel. People could come over into their house and they could cook and have, serve, or just the neighborhood feeling of people being together. And I just love community. So Rolesville is like everyone says, just one big community.
Yes, I would have to agree with you. And even like when we just moved to our neighborhood, we have 9 houses in the cul-de-sac. So we know the neighbors, like one before COVID, like we would have a Christmas party where we would have like appetizers in one house, entree in the second neighbor's house, and then dessert in the third house. It was our tradition like for 3 years, so it's just community and knowing people and meeting new people is just, Rolesville is beautiful.
Besides all that, what the ladies, I totally agree with you, but I also like that things are accessible here. People are accessible. Like I remember talking to Rachel for hours one time or two. Whenever I need to talk to her, I just text her. Similarly, I can text the mayor here, and he might answer, he answers my texts and stuff. So that's a great thing to have. Like, you see them in events and you talk to people and accepting people. So I like that we all are different, but we are at the same time accepting of each other's culture and values and stuff like that. So I really like that in Rolesville, that people are accepting and are open to diversity and stuff like that. So.
And it also helps that the mayor pro tem is also a Rotarian in Rolesville Rotary too. So she is phenomenal and working with us. And you could call Michelle at she's one you could call or text at any time, or stop by Arise Co-working and see her because she's a business owner there. So she definitely understands and works with that. And I will definitely tell you that is something that I love about Rolesville. As I said, none of us are from here. And it is truly one of the things that's beautiful about being not only here, but being a woman leader here is we work with quite a few people. We work with quite a few groups. And I know we even have some teachers to watch us today from the schools that were excited about this panel. So I love that. I love you all. And thank you so much for doing this for me. Olga and I are truly appreciative. This was, Olga knows how I operate. This was truly an operation of where we were pulling, we were like, okay, we want like the women who we know represent us because we know what our community reflects. And so I thank everyone who joined us online. This will be available on our YouTube page. It would also be available on our Facebook page if you would like to go in and view it later, and you ladies can also share it. And I do want to say, as we talk about community, and we've heard from, we have our veterans on, the Rolesville Rotary program actually has a flag program where we will come out 5 holidays a year and put a flag in your yard. And we do want to thank Commissioner Paul Vilga because he subscribed to our service. And this is $50 a year. We will come out, we put the flag up, we take the flag down. There's nothing you have to do but subscribe. And you can find more information about that program on our Facebook page and also on our website. And so that is something that our Rolesville Rotary Club is doing. Thanks to Dan T. and also Darlene Zaccarello. That was the brainchild idea of that. So thank you all so much for joining us today. Ladies, I am going to end the broadcast, but I do want you to stay online so that we can wrap up. And for everyone who joined us online, thank you so much. And if you're not following the Rolesville Chamber on social media, you may want to catch up this month. Every day this month, we have highlighted some key women in our community. And these are women who are doing great work and who love our community and what we do. And we appreciate you all. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.